The devotee is just in the middle of here. Anyone in front of the door to please move this way. We're going to have the speaker this way so we can ask everyone to please face us. Thank you. No, they have a chair. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. If you can please settle down. Please move forward as far as possible. Devotees who come later on, they'll have some space. So if you please move forward. So today is a very special day because we are blessed by two very special devotees. We're blessed by two very special devotees who have joined us. And we want to extend from Bhaktivedanta Manor, from Bhaktivedanta Manor's congregation, a very, very warm welcome to His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and Her Grace Nirakula Mataji. If we can please with three loud Hari Bols, put our hands in the air. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hare Krishna. So both Vaisheshika Prabhu and Nirakula Mataji are traveling, and Bhaktivedanta Manor has the privilege and honor to host their visit here. We have a very special talk that Vaisheshika Prabhu will be giving. I will not say too much about it. I will let Maharaj speak. But it is based on a new book that has been published, The 4 Questions for Inner Peace. We are always looking for a formula. We are always looking for the magic. We are always looking for the secret that will help us obtain inner peace. Vaisheshika Prabhu is an ardent practitioner of the Hare Krishna philosophy, a very expert preacher as well, who shares all over the world the magic of Krishna consciousness. He is an author. He is also leading the community in Silicon Valley in how to propagate Krishna consciousness, teaching everyone around the world how to propagate Krishna consciousness. He is an inspiration to many, especially here at Bhaktivedanta Manor. So we would like to thank him for joining us, and we really look forward to the nectar. Hare Krishna. We will be singing a bhajan. So on the 2 screens on either side, you can please try to follow the words.
Who's the harmoniist? Can you move closer? Yeah. Here. Perfect, thank you. It doesn't. Here you go. Let's hear it. Jai Buddha Madhushvare. Hare Krishna. It's an extreme honor and pleasure to be here with all of you great souls. Thank you very much for doing what you're doing. The world needs all of you. And we're going to sing a song now, I hope, by Bhaktivedanta Thakur, who wrote thousands of songs. Can you keep the tune? Wrote thousands of songs, which are windows to the spiritual world. They also call us to join in the music that comes from the spiritual world, the sound vibration that descends when Krishna comes to this world, or when he sends his representatives. Every realm is defined by its sound vibration. Om Bhurabhuva Swa. The various realms are created by sound, maintained by sound. And the mood of every realm is defined by the sound vibration there. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur wrote this song as a way to teach Krishna consciousness, because people like music, right? Say yes. Yeah. When there's a concert, everyone wants to come in and hear the sound vibration and the music and dance and so forth. But this is no ordinary music. This is music from the spiritual world. And Bhaktivedanta Thakur starts off by saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's Krishna himself, but who came out of a sense of great compassion, Anarpita Chirim Chirat Karuna Yavatirna Kalau, in the age of Kali Yuga, this present age that we're in now, in order to teach people the simple, sublime process by which one can overcome the anomalies of Kali Yuga and go back home, back to Godhead. He says, Grihe tako bane tako shada hari bolu dako. And that is, wherever you may live, whether it's in a house, anyone? A lot of forest dwellers out there, are there? Or bane, in the forest. He said it's okay as long as shada hari bole dako. Keep the transcendental vibration of the Hare Krishna mantra going. Then he says, Maya jale bada hoye, acho miche kajloye. He warns that the material world is entangling and we can be caught just like in a net. And if you've ever felt captured, it's a real thing. The modes of material nature Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, Tribhir gunamayar bhavir evi sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabijanati mamebhya paramavyayam. They're all-pervading. They come from Krishna and they're very powerful. And they pull us down and hold us. So he says, Ekono Chaitanya Peye Radha Madhav Nam Bolore. Try to chant the names of the Lord, Radha Madhava, and transcend the modes of material nature. And then he gives us a little warning at the end. Do you want a little warning? Only one person smiled, two. Jivana hoilo shesh. He says, your life can end at any minute. Na baji le rishikesh. And you really might not have done enough to reach out, try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead who's in your heart, the master of your senses. Bhaktivedanta Upadesh. Bhaktivedanta gives this advice. Ek bar nam rashe matore. Just one time try to get a taste of the intoxicant of the holy name of Krishna. If you chant and chant, then you hear a sound that you've never heard before. It sounds so unusual and it draws you in. Same way that the material world is entangling, the spiritual world is also, but in a good way. So he says, try to get that. Get a little intoxicated from chanting Hare Krishna, and you'll never look back. The material world will look pale in comparison. Namgai Godamadhushvade Namgai Namgai Godamadhushvade Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna It's a song you got to sing really loud. Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Gai Godamadhushvade Namha Grihe tako bane tako Sharahari bole dhako Suke duke bhulo nako varane Hari nam korore Namgai Godamadhushvade Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Godamadhushvade Maya Jale Bada Hoye Atomi Shekaj Loye Maya Jale Bada Hoye Ekono Chaitanya Pe Radha Madhav Nam Bolore Namgai Godamadhushvade Everyone Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Madhushvade Jivana hoilo shesh Nabajile Rishikesh Jivana Thakur Bhakti Vinodu Parishek Parnam Rashe Matore Thakur Bhakti Vinorupa Deshek Parna Nam Gai Gaura Matushvare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nam Gai Gaura Madhushvare Nam Gai Gaura Madhushvare Nam Gai Gaura Madhushvare Nam Gai Gaura Madhushvare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Jai Gaura Madhushvare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Premanande Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Shri Harinam Mahamantra Ki Shri Harinam Prabhu Ki Gaura Premanande Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Okay. Thank you. Shantipurai, harmonium. Gopal on the tambourines. The Hare Krishna singers. For everybody in London. All over the world. Haribo. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Dena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadahmayam Tadati Swapadantigham Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Bitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sadvatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabando Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishubhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya Glanir Bhavati Bharata Abhyutanam Adharmasya Tadatmanam Srajamyaham Parityanaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chaduskritam Dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge manmana bhava madbhakto manyaji mam namaskuru mami vaishyasi yukvaivam atmanam matparayanaha sarvadharman prityaja mamekam sharanam vraja ham tam sarva papebhyo Mokshayishami ma suchaha Shushushro Sharadhanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtan Shevanat Shrinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Prityantaksto Hyabadrani Vidhunoti Suritsatam Nashta Prayeshu Abadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yutama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Tada Rajastamo Bhava Kama Loba Dayaschaye Chaitaiter Anavidam Stitam Satwe Prasidati Evam Prasanna Manaso Bhagavat Bhakti Yogataha Bhagavat Tattva Vijnanam Mukta Sangasya Jayate Vidite Hridaya Grantischijante Sarva Samshaya Shiyante Chatma Sarmani Sha Evat Manishvare Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande Haribo. Rasoham Apsukonteya. Go ahead, I got a drink. You do it. Prabhasmi Shashishurya. Thank you. So the human life has great potential and opportunity. And we're only to discover the means to unlock our full potential. And no matter what situation we're in now, the Vedas say any soul can rise in due course of time. The project, the Veda, the books of knowledge are meant to show us how to live harmoniously in the world, but more importantly, to discover ourselves, and more importantly than that, the source of ourselves. Atmanam akilatmanam. We're interested in our bodies because we're in it. And Shukadeva Goswami says, try to imagine if yourself is so dear to you, how dear the self of yourself might be. And all of the Vedas are pointing in a particular direction. They take us from learning how to live harmoniously in the world to a place where one may begin to discover the secrets of life. For instance, why do we have to die? And how did I get here in the first place? And where am I going after I leave this world? Those are unknown to us, but the Upanishads come to this point after one has tried to find a comfortable place in this world. They begin to speak to us and remind us that there's something beyond just the dull world of matter and our involvement with it. And all of the Upanishads, by the way, which mean, Upanishad means to sit up close, because you want to know the answer and listen carefully, are summarized in the Brahma Sutras, which are codes meant to be explained. They have deep meanings, which over the years, great thinkers, sages, acharyas have explicated and have spoken on extensively, written on extensively. So we have guidance in this world for every aspect of our life, and most importantly for self-realization and God realization. And when we come to the Brahma Sutras, which are given unlimited meaning through the Srimad Bhagavatam, that's the commentary given by Baladev Vidyabhusan, and it's Srila Vyasadev's explanation, and then of course Baladev gave his own explanation of the Brahma Sutras. And the first aphorism or code in the Brahma Sutras is Atato Brahma Jignasa. And that means, therefore, because you've tried everything else, and therefore because you have a human life and the potential to know yourself and to know your source, ask bigger questions. In fact, ask the biggest question. What's my source? What is Brahman? Atato Brahma Jignasa. Now is your time to inquire. And in the Vedanta Sutras, the Brahma Sutras, Vyasadeva points out that we can know the absolute truth because he wants to reveal himself to us. And he also gives proof that if the Shastras are inviting us to ask, then there must be an answer. So this brought to my mind how important the question is. In fact, we find in any of our literatures that the great conversations start off with questions. Can you think of one right off the bat? That's a baseball analogy. Huh? Arjuna and Krishna. Where do we find Arjuna and Krishna having a famous conversation? Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Arjuna finally gets around to asking a question after pontificating and saying why nothing will work. He finally turns to Krishna and says, what am I supposed to do now? And in the Bhagavatam, we may notice that all the most important parts start with somebody asking a question. And Parikshit Maharaj is asking a question, what am I supposed to do at the time of death? What's my duty at this time? In looking at language in general, my conclusion is that out of all the punctuation marks, the question mark is the most powerful. Semicolon is not barely even in the running. It's like, what? And we're not allowed to use exclamation points. And period, yeah, it just stops. But a question mark, it induces somebody to write back to you. If you write a 5-page email and you don't include a question mark, they're not obligated. But if you write one word with a question mark after it, or just send a question mark, they'll feel the pull, and that's a way I've thought about question marks, is that if you look at them as tools, it could be a hook. And in fact, rhetoricians, and I quote in the book called The Four Questions, it's a book I read called How to Win an Argument. And it's a very commonsensical book. He tells how whomever is asking the questions in a conversation is leading the conversation. Oftentimes, I think, if I just tell people something, then I'll show them and I'm leading the conversation. But if someone begins to ask questions, they can pull it any which way they like, and that conversation can go that way. But more than that, in a Tato Brahma Jignasa, there's something metaphysical. It's saying, don't be afraid to ask where you came from and what is the purpose of life. Because if you do, the answer will be forthcoming. And serendipity will abound in your life. The mysteries of the world can be available to you by asking a question. The first question in this book I wrote is, what is my purpose? Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. And is it possible that one may go a full day without questioning one's purpose during that day? Yes? Who said yes? Okay, good. I know who to work with now. And similarly, I could go for a week or a month or a year or even a whole lifetime. And if you want a little fun, you could go to a cricket match. They play cricket here, right? And stand with a clipboard outside and just ask people when they come out, what's your life's purpose? You might start a fight, or that'd be a soccer match probably. Or you might get a lot of half-baked answers. You might get some interesting answers, but oftentimes people don't feel it's important to ask why we're here, what's my ultimate purpose. But the Bhagavad Gita giving us this answer for those who want to ask the question. And oftentimes we take things for granted. And once there was a priest who was teaching his acolytes how to perform a wedding. And there were many parts to it, so students were writing everything down. And a cat came into the room and they put it outside, but it was finding a way back in again and again during the practice session. So the priest, who was a cat lover himself, picked up the cat, petted it, asked somebody to go get a bowl of milk. And then he fed the cat. The cat was purring, and he got a little wicker basket and put the cat in, and it went to sleep. And he went on teaching. And a few years later, after the priest had moved on, all the students were there and were getting ready for their first wedding. And they were scrambling to get all the ingredients and get everything set up perfectly. And just as they were about to begin, one of them yelled out, "Stop! We need the cat in the basket to perform this ceremony." And they found a village cat. They brought him in. They petted it, gave it some milk, found a little basket. He fell asleep purring and said, "Okay, now we can go on." And from that day forward, in that sect, there's always been a cat in the basket. And there are many ways in which we take for granted what we're doing, or we may do things that we have no idea. And therefore, Rupa Goswami invites us in his Upadeshamrita when he says, beware of niyamagraha, which is practicing without asking, what's the purpose? Why am I doing this? So when we ask ourselves a question, what's my purpose? We'll begin thinking about why we're doing things. And in any discipline, or even in the course of life, this is very important, because without knowing what we're doing, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, sacrifices performed without knowledge or without faith in them are useless. One of the ways of divining one's purpose is to take some time to sit by oneself and write down one's priorities. Have you ever done that? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Do you have it somewhere in your pocket? We could read it out loud to everyone. I sat down a few years ago with a legal pad and a Bic pen. And I wrote on top of the page, what are my priorities? And I started writing, and it startled me how difficult it was to put them in order. And ultimately, I had to shift them around and reorganize them. But as I thought about them more, and as the more they came into focus for me, the more invigorated I felt, and the more purposeful I felt about everything I was doing. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a way in which Shukadev starts off by telling Parikshit Maharaj that the purpose of life is to be ready for the end. That's fascinating. And it changes our perspective. If we're thinking about the end of life as we're practicing whatever we're doing now, or living our lives, and we have that context, we'll look at the world in a much different way. So the first question is a question for humans, to ask what our purpose is, to ask oneself, what's my purpose? And why do we exist? So Prabhupada gives an example of how, when we're engaged in our purpose, our dharma, then we feel satisfied and happy. And this is one of my favorite analogies because it's so simple. And he said, a tiny screw belongs somewhere. Imagine a tiny screw in a machine. It's doing a mighty task, helping the machine. It's holding it together so it can do its overall function. But if that little screw falls out of the machine somewhere, and it's lying in the road, and you come across it and pick it up, if you tried to sell it on eBay, you wouldn't get a penny. But when it's in the machine, it's inestimably valuable because it's doing its dharma. Outside, we're like little screws when we don't have an idea what our purpose is and how to be engaged properly. Then we may feel like a detached screw. In fact, from time to time I find little screws on the ground. Once I tell you this story, you're going to see them all over the place too. And first time I saw one after I heard this Prabhupada tell this story, I picked it up and I took it home and I keep it on my desk as a reminder that when you fit somewhere properly, then you feel full. The second question is, how may I be of service? Would you like to say that one? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Sanatana Goswami that your eternal nature is that you're a servant of Krishna. And when I forget this alignment, and when I forget that this is what I do, this is what my main purpose is in life, to render service, then I am in anxiety, and I feel anxious. Excuse me. And I'll give you an example. It's a commonplace kind of example of how important this question is. Let's just say you go to an awkward social gathering. Or let me put it another way. You go to a social gathering, but you're feeling awkward about going. Has anybody been in a situation where you were invited to a social gathering, in fact, even a family gathering, where you felt awkward? When did you start feeling awkward? Before you left, right? When you got the invitation, maybe. And then when you're getting dressed, you think, should I wear this? Is that... And when we arrive, sometimes, as humans, we have ways of looking at ourselves and wondering how people are perceiving us. So we might come into a setting like that and feel out of place. You may stand over to the side and think, who am I supposed to talk to? Those people look like they don't like me already. And then, let's just say you saw somebody there who is engaged in some kind of work, like helping set up the refreshments. And then you just went over and said, how may I be of service? And they said, why don't you take those chairs over in the corner, we're a little behind, and you can move them over there and just set them up 3 in a row. And next thing you know, you don't feel awkward anymore. Suddenly you're on the inside of the room. Not inside the room, but inside socially. You're an insider. And you start moving chairs, and now when more people come in, they think, oh, this guy works here. And similarly, in the universe, I feel awkward. I'm not really sure where I fit. And how will I ever live up to expectations of others and so forth? And if you ask this question, how may it be of service? It's like a switch. And it realigns us with our purpose and what our real dharma is. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you're a servant. I'm usually thinking in the default mode of why people aren't serving me enough. Why aren't they attending to me properly? You can turn that around immediately by just saying, how may I be of service? And amazingly, we fit in that slot of being a servant. As soon as we consider that and we ask the question, it pulls us in that direction and it reminds us. Summarized, there are 3 paths in this world. One path is the path of enjoyment. Another is the path of renunciation. And Lord Chaitanya talked about this to Sanatana Goswami when he talked about abhoga tyaga. You try to enjoy the world, and when you get frustrated, then you say, I quit, and I'm giving it all up. And on a number line, there's negative numbers, which is like the path of enjoyment. You go out and spend on a credit card, and it looks like you're getting a lot done and you're getting ahead, but then later you have to pay the bill. That's karma. And the more you try, the deeper you go into the negative numbers here in the material world. Therefore, philosophers sometimes come to this idea that let me move up the number line to 0. And I will find some relief, undoubtedly, but you can't stay at 0. There's a way that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the demigods praying to Lord Krishna in the womb say that you can't stay in that artificial situation of 0 or renouncing the world and living without anything, because eventually Aruya Krishna param padam tata patantyato nadrita yusmadangraya yene ravindaksha vimuktamaninas tvayastabhavad avashudha budaya Aruya Krishna param padam tata patantyato nadrita yushmadangraya. Srimad Bhagavatam says, unless you have something positive, which is the lotus-eyed Lord. And what is our relationship with the lotus-eyed Lord? It's service. And so that's the path of dedication. So you can see in this work of art, the servitor looks pretty happy, right? Don't you think? How about the enjoyer? And maybe he's happy for now, but he's going to be sorry either tomorrow morning or in a few years. And then the renunciate looks a little bummed out. It's not sustainable. So the pathway to happiness and progress in life is to ask this question, how may it be of service? And when the mind feels out of place, when we're wondering how to feel satisfied again, we can ask this question and realign ourselves. Question number 3 is, what is the lesson? Would you like to repeat that? What is the lesson? Now the default mode is, why me? Why did this happen to me? If you've ever had, for instance, a reversal of fortune. And what's the lesson doesn't just mean when something apparently throwing me off track happens, but also when anything happens. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have in the 10th canto, 14th chapter, 8th verse, Tenu kampam susamikshamano bunjana ivava kritam vipakam hridvagapapur viradam namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. And that is Brahma saying that those who align themselves in this world by asking this question, when anything happens, and considering it's their responsibility to introspect and say, why did this happen to me? What's the lesson I meant to learn? Treat the universe like a schoolhouse, not like a place of comfort. We'll never find comfort in this world. Krishna already certifies that in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Say yes. For instance, he calls this dukkhalayam, shashvatam. Dukkhalayam, you know what the bhojanalaya is, right? You go get a few rotis there, but here you get dukkhalayam. But it's not meant just to suffer. Every way in which the material world, the ways that we encounter the material world, and it's reacting to whatever we're doing. And it's doing so to bring us into fine alignment with our highest purpose. And if we preemptively ask this question, throughout our lives and throughout our days. What's the lesson? What I meant to learn from this? And it's very difficult to do because the default mode is so strong that I'm supposed to move through the world without any obstacle whatsoever. And anything that challenges that, I become defensive. I once heard a radio interview with a very intelligent person, and as he was being interviewed, the interviewer had questioned one of the words he had used, because the person who was being interviewed was from Oklahoma. And a slang for people from Oklahoma is Okie. But some people feel that that's derogatory, to call somebody an Okie. But he was from Oklahoma, so I guess it was okay. But anyway, the interviewer was being very careful. And he said, "Oh, maybe you shouldn't say that on the air, Okie." He said, "But I am an Okie." But then he stopped and he said, "That's all right, I live to be corrected." And I pulled over the car and I wrote it down, that's what he said. It's a mantra. And so is this, what's the lesson? And so is what Brahma said. He said, try to be observant. Whatever happens to you in your life, ask what's the lesson, what it's meant to teach me. And that brings us to a sense of how we're meant to improve and how the world is a classroom. You have an important software alert. Did you know that? Should I activate it now? What's the lesson behind this? This picture is based on, there are several artists who worked on this picture. I'm just showing a few of the pieces from the book itself, but it was great fun, I would say, and also the creative process of working with a few artists who were rendering some of the concepts into these images. And this one was a concept called "Your mate is your mirror." So there's a way in which when, for instance, if you live with a mate, if you're a grihasta, you may have interactions with your mate, right? Yeah, that might happen. And so sometimes we may, I don't know, be annoyed. Could that happen ever? Yeah? All right. So why do we get annoyed? Because it's something we have within ourselves, and we see it in with somebody else, and therefore it annoys us because we want to get over a quality, so we take it out on the person we love the most, who's closest to us. And the idea is that wherever we go, if we see everything as an opportunity, for instance, your mate is your mirror, is like, here's your chance to see yourself. How are you acting with the person that's closest to you? And if you're able to refine your speech, not become annoyed, and so forth, when you're speaking with somebody that's close to you, then you're moving towards refinement. And Krishna talks about all these things for instance, in the 12th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. What are the qualities of somebody who's becoming Krishna conscious? They don't overreact to certain kinds of insults or stimuli or even being attacked and so forth. And I'm not advocating, I always give this caveat when I present these concepts, especially in the corporate world, that doesn't mean we become a doormat somewhere or give up due process if it's necessary, if somebody's bullying us or something like that. But the point is to take every circumstance as a learning opportunity. I think you rendered the key something, and what happened? Maybe it gained a virus from that little thing that jumped. Thanks. I like that tree. The classroom of tolerance. There are many classrooms in the cosmic schoolhouse that we're in. If we position ourselves that way, if we consider whatever we're engaged in as an opportunity to ask what's the lesson I'm supposed to learn, then just because things are out of our control doesn't mean they're out of control. Okay, question number 4 is, Where am I investing my attention right now? Would you like to say it? Such a useful question, because oftentimes I feel overwhelmed because I have so many options. Have you ever felt like that? There are a lot of things to do as human beings, and you can sign up for everything and then feel that there's lots of things to do. And in finance, those who invest their money often ask the question, what's the return on my investment? Which would be ROI. And in the case of us human beings who are on a spiritual journey, we could ask, what's my ROA? Which is what? Return on attention. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna reminds us of how powerful our gaze is. Mahavishnu, of course we're not Mahavishnu, but I'm starting there. Mahavishnu looks, he glances at the material energy, and the time energy is infused into the Mahatattva, and the living entities then are impregnated in the material energy, and the whole cosmic manifestation begins to churn because he glanced at it. Well, what are we in terms of ontology? Meaning, like, we're not the body, but we are souls. And what's the soul? Krishna. We're same quality as Krishna. Not same quantity, but same quality. And when we glance at things too, the energy moves. And therefore there's a phrase that I like, it's probably in here somewhere, it says, where attention goes, there it is. Where attention goes, energy flows. In the Gita, Krishna says, Dhyayato visham pumsam sangaste upajayate sangat sanjayate kama krodho upajayate. There's a series of events or consequences that take place when we place our attention, Krishna says, on a particular object. Whatever you meditate upon, that it starts to enter into your life. It becomes, you develop a sangha with it. And so asking the question, where am I investing? Wherever we're putting our attention, it's a huge investment, because we're also taking on the qualities of those things. In fact, yogis do this deliberately. You know, in the 11th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Krishna talks about the mystic yoga process. Shall I tell you how mystic yogis get their power? Okay, about a third of the room said yes. Everyone else, cover your ears. It's not for you. What they do is they meditate on the primary element that they want to develop the quality of. And if they want to become light as air, they're able to, by investing their attention over a long period of time in the air element, then there's a way in which they start to take on the same quality so that they can exhibit these mystical, amazing feats, mystical and amazing feats. And wherever we're placing our attention, that's what we're gathering, that's what we're becoming. Purusha prakriti stohi punkte prakriti jangunan karanam guna sangosya sarasad yoni janmasu. Krishna says, without a doubt, he didn't say without a doubt, I'm saying that, that whatever you meditate on, whatever you associate yourself with, you're going to take on that quality. Therefore, the most consequential thing we do is place our attention somewhere. Let me ask you a question. It's is it multiple choice? No, it's a question on an SAT. Do you have those here? That's what you got to take to get into college. Okay, you can get 1,600, then that's the highest score. So what's a better ROA? Scrolling on your phone, sitting in the corner, or reading Bhagavad Gita? How did you know that? Did you just intuitively know that? Yeah, Sri Upanishad says, Anyadevahur sambhavad, anyadahur asambhavad, iti shushubadhiranam yenas tadvidishakshare. One result is attained by sitting in the corner and scrolling on your phone. And another is attained by sitting and reading Bhagavad Gita on a nice clean seat. Difference in consciousness is profound. Iti shushumadhiranam yenas tattva. The great sages have already concluded this for us. And if we feel overwhelmed, we may ask ourselves this question: where am I investing my attention right now? I'll make another statement which perhaps is bold, and that is our main asset, maybe our only asset, is our free will of where to place our attention at any given time. Because that's our free will. We can decide, do I sit and scroll or do I read the Bhagavad Gita? And if I ask myself this and I'm remembering I'm investing, it's entering me, and it's also, I'm becoming the object that I'm looking at. I'm developing the same quality. What do I want? And if you want to end up broke and working in a car wash financially, you want to sleep in your van for the rest of your life, then forego any understanding of how to invest your money, right? Work in a car wash. Is that the worst thing that can happen? And if you want to be bereft of peace of mind and be agitated, then just scroll on your phone. But if you want to be spiritually wealthy, ask yourself this question: where am I investing my... Work with me, please. I need a little help here. Where am I right now? And that's all we ever have is right now. If you feel overwhelmed, come back to the present moment and ask where you're investing your attention. And that might lead to a clue of why you don't feel right. Is because you're looking at the wrong stuff. I have a saying: if you don't like what you're being subjected to, anyone? Change the subject. We can change the subject at any time. That's our superpower. We can say, I'm not going to watch this anymore. They put TV screens on every seat now in the airplane. Who thought of that? And you can turn it off if you want to. And there's lots of stuff we can turn off and other things that we can turn on. And really, that's the essence of our development of consciousness, is making a wise choice. Anyadevahur sambhavad, anyadahur sambhavat. One result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all causes. Another result is attained by worshipping that which is not supreme. And if we can distinguish that from moment to moment and invest in that which is supreme, then we'll be happy. And we'll be on the path of peace. Just showing you some of the photos, some of the drawings. And also, a final point about this. You know the word content? Say yes. Yes. You know the word content? Yes. Did you know they're the same word? Content and content are the same word. So, what you take in, what you meditate on, what you're subjecting yourself to, where you're investing your attention, that becomes your content. In fact, yogis are so careful. I read as a commentary in the Yoga Sutras, they says these yogis are as sensitive as an eyeball. So someone says, why an eyeball? Because it's the most sensitive place. A little tiny speck of dust gets there, and so they realize how sensitive we are as living entities. Don't run roughshod through the material world, just pick up all these things. Develop contentment by taking in the right content. Don't think that it's not having an effect. The kind of content you're taking in that's a sambhavat, it's not spiritual. So you can remember that your contentment comes from your content, and we're responsible for what content we keep. Ricky and his mice, you'll have to read the book. Practice mantra meditation. I hope you're already doing it. Power of spiritual sound vibration. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Krishna's in his name. If you just meditate on the name and become enraptured by it, then all energies, Krishna will organize everything in your life perfectly by that process. Now, we'll take some reflections or questions. I have hundreds of slides, but I only just picked out a few because we just have a few moments. Yes? Prabhu, what is your name?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. My name is Vamsidhari Das.
Vamsidhari Prabhu. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
Krishna.
Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for giving this session today. So my question is, you mentioned that you could be reading Bhagavad Gita or you could be on your mobile phone, and so you have an option to just close that down and do the other activities. But the verse that came to my mind immediately is Materna Krishna Parata Swatova Mithe Abhipadyeta Grihavritanam. So those who are Grihavratis, who are so much into the conditionings of enjoyments that life puts them into, it becomes very difficult for them to come out of this, to make these choices. So I don't know what's the solution of this. What Prahlad Maharaj gives as a solution for this.
Yeah, association with great souls. It's one of the ways Prahlad Maharaj in his prayers talks about how to attain perfection. Evam janamni patitam baba prahukupe prama kamam bikama madhuyam prapatam prasangat kritva masa shurashina bhagavan grihito so ham katam vishuje tava britya sevam. He's saying that this is the path, is to get britya sevam, serve great souls. In fact, if you want to become great, you just get around somebody who's great. Just like Prabhupada said once that those devotees who had joined him, even though they came from ordinary backgrounds, could have been from anywhere, because they followed him and they took up his path. And he said, especially you chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regular principles, you'll be honored wherever you go. So my point is that we need intervention. And if we can get association with people who are on a higher level than we are, then we're naturally lifted. So that's the main point in making advancement in devotional life, is to get good association.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yes. What's your name?
Aman.
Aman. Nice to see you, Aman. We'll get you a mic.
Well, my name is Aman. So firstly, thank you so very much for this amazing session. I quite resonate with everything that you have said today, right? Be cautious of where you put in your energy, or be mindful and don't victimize yourself. Always ask, what lesson have I learned? But in the last couple of months, I've realized that the more I practice these things, the better I become, the better I've become. But there is always that problem that I have with maintaining that consistency. So I am attending a session like this. I will practice it for a couple of days, and then I'll get back to my old habits. And then I again have to remind myself, and then I'll again practice it, and then I'll keep going back to my old habits. So, I mean, do you have any advice in that regard on how one can stick with it?
I have some advice. Take a bigger dose. I've found that if you can get, if you get a little association, you'll feel it. If you can take a little more time, for instance, I've seen that people can maybe stay overnight. I've gone to japa retreats before, where it's 3 days, intensive. And when you walk away from that, it lasts longer. We have a retreat we do every year at Kartik time in Govardhan. It's for a whole month. And we read Bhagavatam out loud for about 5 hours a day and do all the other things in the ashram. And we're all together. And the response that people give oftentimes when they go there, well, how was it? Life-changing. Right. So take a little, just increase the dosage.
Right.
Live like a monk challenge. I just was in New York, and I saw they're doing the monk challenge there. Hanai Pran Prabhu is running it there, and I met 5 of his subjects who had taken it. They were so blissful. They were talking about how happy their lives are, how they love waking up in the morning now, and things like that. So just up the dose. Try to find opportunities where you can get more immersion, and that can really help.
Yeah. Thank you so very much. By the way,
welcome.
we are doing the monk challenge here.
You are? Yeah. You're really serious. You're very serious.
Yeah.
And it does, life, we go through various eras in our lives. Oftentimes when people are young, they have more opportunity to just be fully immersed because they don't have any other obligations at that time. Sometimes kids nowadays, they study so hard in school and things like that. And then in some times of our life, we're more distracted and we have more duties to do. But if we do the best we can throughout our lives in all the different circumstances, there will come a time, and timing is everything, there will come a time when you'll be given the opportunity to engage more and more fully. It's kind of how lifetimes are planned, or the way they work out. So you're doing great, coming here regularly, doing the monk challenge, and I can see from your countenance, you're very bright, spiritual. So you're doing great, keep up the good work. And every little bit counts. That's another point to remember in spiritual practice, is everything's counted and recorded. That's in Prabhupada's purport in the 6th canto. So do what you can with what you have right now, and you'll get more opportunity. And sometimes the times in which you're held back because of circumstances and you can't do as much as you want, but you want to do more, does that resonate with anybody? That's a thing. That actually happens a lot. And sometimes it's a crucible. It's like the way they purify gold. They put it in a fire box and then the impurities come out. Even in the Bhagavatam, those gopis who were held back by their families and couldn't go meet Krishna in the forest, they made more advancement than anybody because their desire became more intense. Thanks for asking such a nice question. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you ever so much for the lovely teachings today. Just one quick question as to what you were saying, unless I've picked it up incorrectly. Did you say that our soul is like Krishna?
Yeah, somebody in the audience said that we're part and parcel of Krishna. I agreed with that. And then I said in quality we're the same as Krishna. And the analogy often given is there's the sun and the sunshine. And when you see the sunshine coming through the window, you know the sun's there. And you might even say, oh, there's the sun. But if the whole sun was there, we'd be in a different state. And the sunshine is the sun, but it also has its individuality as part of the sun. So we're parts of Krishna, the way the sun rays are parts of the sun. We're same in quality. We're conscious. We have free will. But we're minute. Infinitesimal, in fact, and Krishna is infinite. And our relationship is always as the servant, and he's always as the master. Does that help?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, good. Okay. Yes, Prabhu. And we have a couple more minutes, like 2, 3. So I'll just say give a few points about why I wrote the book.
Hare Krishna, thank you,
Hare
Maharaj,
Krishna.
for
Thank
the
you.
really nice presentation. Yeah, so the question about we just understood that this world is like a practice or classroom for us, and we need to learn how to tolerate. So this is created so that we can align ourselves to be servant and try to love Krishna. So the question is about the material energy of Krishna. So we sometimes understand that it's there to entangle soul or is it there to help us to approach Krishna or go closer to Krishna? So how the material energy, is it helping us to get closer, or is it entangling souls in this material world?
What do you feel?
Sometimes I feel it is helping and it's pushing me towards Krishna, and some other times it just entangles me. So I think it is up to me, I guess. I'm not sure. But so
Yeah, it is. It's up to us, our relationship with the material world. Tattenu kampam, and asking what's the lesson. If we're able to have that type of relationship with the material world and notice how everything's teaching us something, then it'll be our helper. And attitude is everything. In fact, Prabhupada writes that in the introduction, the preface to the Upadeshamrita. He says the attitude of the servitor is the most important aspect of a Krishna conscious person. So when we have that attitude, then Bhakti, Brahma says, Sadaya Bhak, you become the inheritor of the kingdom of God if you're able to be in that mode of how will I learn from this. So Maya also means mercy, means that she's there to help us to turn our attention back to Krishna. And as we do, everyone helps us. Krishna helps us from within our hearts, tattenu kampam susumikshamano. And Maya is a great impetus for us. Queen Kunti, who's in this mode of what's the lesson, says, Vipara santatasasva tatra tatra jagaguru bhavato darshanam yatsyad apunar bhavadarshanam. So there's a way in which she takes it that whatever waves of material nature are coming to me, this is a chance for me to come into this mood of giving up my false sense of self and taking shelter of Krishna. And that's the most important, is to remember Krishna. In fact, there's only 2 rules. Is that good? Make it simple. Remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Everything else is a servant of those 2 points. And if in every circumstance we remember Krishna, that he's trying to teach me something through his material nature, then we'll be in resonance with the purpose of the universe, and we'll be okay. Thank you. Thanks for sitting there too. This is a very bright corner over here, all of you. I just want to mention that I wrote this book because I give a lot of classes in corporate settings in the Bay Area and elsewhere when I travel. And in that, I've tuned my voice to the audience in a way that I can present the principles of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam in a way that is understandable. It's free of jargon. I unpack all the concepts for them so that I'm not saying things that sound foreign, or I also try to expunge from my dialogue trigger words that freak out people who don't like organized religion and things like that. And I also try to make it accessible. What is part of the philosophy that I can access now? If it's highly philosophical, Radhika Raman Prabhu told me once, any philosophy that we don't have access to is useless. So this book is what we sometimes call a bridge book. It's meant for those who are not yet acquainted with Krishna consciousness and who we would like to introduce to Krishna consciousness, but I try to hit that spot. In fact, in writing the book, I created a persona of the person I was writing to, and I kept it always in front of me to remind me of I'm talking to this person who's not acquainted with the language. So you'll find in the book, if you do open it at all or get one, which I'm not insisting upon. It's not my book, by the way. It's a BBT book. I gave the copyrights to the BBT after finishing it because my only purpose in writing it was to continue the conversation I'm having anyway in corporates and other public places, but I'm finding that a book is a huge calling card. already since writing the book, had a lot more penetration into the corporate world and meeting the people there, and a lot more lined up. So that's why the book's there. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming to this session tonight. It's such a heartfelt experience. My wife, Nirkula, is sitting back there in the blue, white, in the chair near the window. We're so happy to be back here. It's such a vibrant place, and the devotees here are full of vitality and know all the shlokas and have beautiful kids. I mean, what a place. You already live in the spiritual world, so we're just very happy to be here, and thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu ki jai. Her Grace Nirakula Mataji ki jai. Hare Krishna. Can we show a little bit more vitality? With 3 loud Hari Bols, thanking Prabhu. Hari Bol! Hari Bol! Hari Bol! He has brought some prasad with him. And this, I'll ask Divyanam Prabhu to please announce.
The kind of prasad Vaishnava Prabhu is talking is not necessarily the edible one, because in Krishna consciousness you get many different kinds of prasad. So tonight I'm very happy to introduce, it's the first evening where we are unveiling this beautiful book called The 4 Questions. So the book is available in the Bhakti Lounge. As you can see, Manor is going through transformation from place by place. Right now we are focusing on the work at the reception. So when you go out, you will meet a devotee who will be standing there with a little token. And with that token, you'll get a free gift from Mother Nirakula, who will be going to passing you those gifts. And so you can meet her just by the Bhakti Lounge. And if you go further inside, you'll see a table where you can get this book for yourself today. It's a BBD book available. It just arrived 2 days ago. We have actually requested, any guesses how many copies we have requested from Australian BBD printed this for us? And some devotees were saying, let's order 20, some said 50, somebody said 200. Those who know the answer, not you, Sachi, how many books do you think UK has printed to distribute them to everybody, including the devotees? 5,000. That's a good guess. We can get a little bit better than that. A little bit better than that. 20,000 books have been printed. The only thing which is separating us from the book is the time right now for this 20,000 books. But on our special request, His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu and Mother Nirakula, they're carrying these books. They carried with them about 200 copies personally in their luggage, so we could have them on this evening. The other 20,000 copies will arrive a week later, and they will still be here for another 10 days. Vaisheshika Prabhu is leaving tomorrow morning for some BBT meetings, and he'll be back on 21st, where we're doing seminars. So on the table, you can come and find out about the seminar we're doing. It's called Live to Give Seminar. So make our life, by giving to others. So for that, you can again sign up on the table and speak to the devotees. They'll sign you up, give you the registration link, and you can come and join the seminar. It's on Friday evening and whole day on Saturday. And if you want to know more schedule and the programs of Maharaj, please come and see us. We'll share that with you. The first book Maharaj wrote, which was again a BBD book, is called Our Family Business. So this is an amazing book. It not only talks about our legacy and our Srila Prabhupada, the importance of the books, but you can develop a strong sense of sadhana. Your own personal practice can grow by reading this book. It did to me, for sure, and it can really help you go deeper into Prabhupada books and read them daily, actually. So that is also available. So this particular book here is £10, and this one is 15. But if you take them both today, it's £20. And then we also have this wonderful T-shirt, if you would like to have it. So others can ask you about the most important questions which we just went through, and then you can induce them to take to Krishna consciousness by giving this book. I was just speaking to Dinanath Gauranga Prabhu, who's going out on book distribution tomorrow. Anybody wants to join, please see him later on. So we were thinking we're going to wear this T-shirt and distribute the books now on the street from tomorrow. And Chukujavenu Prabhu, who's seated there, he's printed all these wonderful T-shirts for us. So they are available, those of you who would like, in different sizes. And we have these beautiful bags. You can also collect these bags with the same questions. and give the donation for the bags as well and the t-shirts which is available. And the wristbands are the gifts which you get free from Mother Nirukala when you go there. But please collect your token and work in a queue. And we will request Vaisheshika Prabhu to give you a signature on the book tonight while he's here. At least you can get his sign. We would have loved to have him write a bit more, but tonight we'll just be satisfied with the signature, if that's okay with all of you. We're conscious of the time. So I think, those were the few announcements from our side. We'd like to thank Vaishnav Prabhu and our Bhaktivedanta Manor Foundation for organizing this Mahasangha. Thank you so much, Vaishnav Prabhu. Let's give a round of applause for Vaishnav Prabhu. So please come and see us. We have a whole team there giving out these books and the various other merchandising. Thank you everybody for tonight. The darshan will open shortly. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyevacha patita nam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Radha Gokulanand ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai.
Hare Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hare Nitai Gauranga Nitai Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Radhe Radha Gokulananda Radhe Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Sita Ram Lakshman Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Srila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jai Shri Radha Gokulanand ki Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki Shri Gaur Nithai ki Srila Prabhupada ki Samaveda Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Vaishnava Sangha Vaishnava Seva ki Bhaktivedanta Manor Dham ki Jai Nithai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Thank you very much for coming everyone to today's program. Yeah, so there will be 5 minutes more of Narsingh Arati. So can you please sit down for a while? Yeah, thank you.
Namaste Narayana Pralada Lada Layana Hiranyakaji Purvakshas Nani Jai Ranya Gajibo
सिंह भगवान की, प्रहलाद महाराज की, शिला प्रभुपाद की, निताई गौर प्रेमानंद हरि हरि बोल।
I don't know whether it is.